shares today finished higher after Citron Research's Andrew Leff reversed his earlier negative call on the stock. Leff said he expects the stock to rally due to the company's initiatives on delivering personalized content and its privacy concerns being behind them.
And Mark Cuban appearing on Halftime Report today following Citron's call, explaining why he doesn't own the stock.
You still own Twitter?
No, I don't. No, not for any particular reason other than I wanted to try to accumulate as much cash as possible.
Oh, so you're holding more cash than you normally would?
Oh, yeah, a lot more cash, yeah. I'm ready, willing, and able if something happens.
Not really a statement on Twitter.
Not really a statement on Twitter, and perhaps we'll get to that general market sentiment in a moment. But first, Stephanie, on the topic of Twitter, the bad news recently surely has really come out of other social media stocks more than it has out of Twitter, has it not?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at Twitter overall into the second quarter, it was up 90% year to date at the time. So clearly the expectations were quite high. And by the way, it was the very best stock in the S&P 500 in the second quarter in terms of performance. So yeah, you had these very elevated expectations, and it wasn't the cleanest quarter in guidance. Clearly, they are spending more to clean up the site, which I think is the right thing to do for the long term. And oh, by the way, even though expenses are going up, they're still seeing double-digit earnings and revenue growth, and ad revenues per monthly active users are also going up, and that's a very big data point to keep in line. They're taking market share from Snap, from Facebook, so it has pulled back. I think that there's really no reason to rush in right now. It's going to be a show me story. Now we have to wait for the next quarter. And by the way, we have to wait for the next quarter for Facebook as well. But if I had to put the two of those side by side, I think I'd much rather own Facebook because of the valuation. But the expectations for both stocks have come down substantially, and I think they're giving you opportunities for the long run.
Yeah, two of the worst performers over the last month in terms of the information technology index. Charlie, what about that sentiment from Mr. Cuban about going to cash?
He's trying to time the market, and God bless him, but I think that's very hard to do. There have been an awful lot of people who've been nervous for the last 10 years about thinking the stock market recovery was too long in the tooth, and I think it's bad for individual investors to try to time the market. So Mark Cuban's a billionaire. He can do whatever he wants, but individual investors should not sell stocks because they're trying to time a peak.
That said, Stephanie, what's your kind of cash level at the moment relative to the last 12 months?
Well, we have to hold almost 100% cash. I am always looking for opportunities. I think that there are a lot of good companies out there. And as I mentioned, if there's any concern with regards to currency and pressure on earnings and that sort of thing, and if Turkey does get a little bit out of control, I'm certainly keeping an eye out on certain names. My recent purchase of Merck, I added that. I like Disney. I like Comcast. As I mentioned, I added to Facebook. I like that name for the long term. So I think that there's a whole bunch of names that are giving you opportunities on these pullbacks. I actually think the expectations have been so high into the second quarter earnings. You got such extreme reactions to certain stocks that I think you have to, if you have conviction, I have conviction in the names I just mentioned. I've been picking away at those names.